Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to another Nintendo NX/Nintendo discussion. And I want to talk about this because there seems to be a lot of youngsters out there, or just ignorant people, I'm not really sure, that don't quite understand that the Wii name, what Nintendo did in last generation, this generation, doesn't necessarily define everything that Nintendo has done. Nintendo is more than the Wii name. They are more than just a gimmick. The first thing when I think of when I talk about Nintendo is quality games. That's the first thing pretty much anyone would think about for the most part. You think of the franchises that they have, like The Legend of Zelda, like Mario, like Metroid, like Donkey Kong. They have all of these big blockbuster IPs. They have all of these strong franchises that have been around for decades. And they have some up-and-coming new franchises such as Xenoblade and Splatoon. So to me, that's what defines Nintendo first and foremost. Not gimmicks, not Wii, not casual, not anything else. And I guess it's hard for some of the newer fans to kind of see that just because of the influence of gaming overall from smartphones, tablets, Microsoft, and Sony. But I grew up with Nintendo. I grew up with Nintendo from the very beginning. I literally was born and was shown what Nintendo was. Like, I was playing The Legend of Zelda as a kid. I was playing Super Mario Bros. The original. I was playing Mario Bros. 3. I was playing all of that. Grew up with every single main system Nintendo's ever had. With Nintendo, I personally know in my heart that Nintendo is defined more than what Wii and what Wii U is. A lot of people like to just associate them with casual and feel that they have never done anything else because they grew up with Nintendo with the Wii. If you're 15, 16, 14, if you're in the teens range right now, you pretty much grew up with the generation of PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii. All you know of as far as Nintendo goes is motion controls, weird controllers, and all that. But if you're like me and you're a little bit older, if you're in the 25 plus range, you grew up with Nintendo when they made necessarily the strongest system out there. And they put out all of these core games and they didn't have all of the other things that distracted from what they wanted to do. And that's how I feel Nintendo was going to go back to, because to me Nintendo has finally realized at this point, after the massive sales failure of the Wii U, that they need to go back to what they did. That's why The Legend of Zelda has those parallels to the NES. That's why Miyamoto wanted to draw those comparisons. That's why Miyamoto said they're going to be more aggressive with their IP. That's why they're saying they want to reach everyone, because back in the day, when you talked about a casual game, there wasn't really anything like that. Nintendo used to make a game like The Legend of Zelda, and they would show families playing The Legend of Zelda. Nintendo would make Mario. They would show families playing Mario. Nintendo would make F-Zero. They'd show families playing F-Zero and challenging each other to time trials and things like that. To me, that's how it should be. Family games can be anything at this point. It can be Mario, it can be Zelda, it can be core titles that people determine as core today. That can be played by families just as much as anything else. Just like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, and those games can be played by families as well. Heck, I've seen it firsthand. Families play Call of Duty and other games together. And I feel that's where Nintendo is going to go back to. That's how they're going to recapture the casual audience, because you don't alienate the core gamers, and you also can branch off and get these new gamers to like your real IPs, not the Wii gimmicky fad type of things that only work with certain controllers and all of that, but the actual games that transcend any type of consoles, the games that you can play 20 years from now and be like, oh yeah, that was awesome. Even to this day, Super Mario Bros. 3 can be picked up and said, this is amazing. You can pick up Mario 64 20 years later and be like, yeah, this was amazing. Same thing goes for The Legend of Zelda and various other games Nintendo has made. It's about building a foundation. It's about building a foundation for the future and building consistency. That's what I feel the Nintendo NX is. That's what I feel Nintendo is. Nintendo themselves has also stated, I keep on saying this, but I have to say it again, that the Nintendo NX will not be like the Wii or the Wii U. Nintendo themselves has pretty much gotten rid of their branding. They have gotten rid of the branding of the 3DS and the Wii. They still say 3DS and stuff when they talk about videos and things like that in order to not have confusion, but when you look at their YouTube videos, it's just branded with a Nintendo label on there. They're going back to the classic red Nintendo label. When I made a video on that, people said that I was making more of it than what it actually was, but I don't think so. That classic Nintendo label means a lot. especially to people like me who grew up with Nintendo, the brand of just Nintendo, not necessarily the label itself, but just Nintendo. Not any post name like Wii or 3DS, but Nintendo. That means a lot, and I feel that they are going back to that. And back in the day, when you played a game, it was played by anyone. My parents played Street Fighter. They played everything back then. Back in the day, there was no separation. And in my opinion, that's how I feel Nintendo is going to take things back. Nintendo can sell to the casual audience with Mario. They can sell to the casual audience with Zelda. They can sell to the casual audience with Donkey Kong. So when I see people saying, oh, all Nintendo does is gimmicky, they can't do anything outside of Wii or Wii U or that branding, I say no. Because I remember the NES, I remember the Super Nintendo, I remember the N64, and I remember the GameCube that all carried that legacy and brand of what Nintendo was. And the plain fact that the Wii was super successful, but all those people left for the Wii U shows that Nintendo has had far more successful systems that stayed true to what they were than gimmicky systems. So for Nintendo, they need to go back to what made them Nintendo. That's why you're seeing that branding, and that's why you're going to see a whole new Nintendo, starting with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo NX. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And also as a question, what era did you guys grow up in? What was your first era playing video games? You guys all know, like I said the NES. That era was magical, but for me, the Super Nintendo was the best era of all time. So let me know what your best era of all time is in the comment section below as well. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let you know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips and tricks, and everything on the Nintendo NX. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.